Good evening. Hey, sis, how are you? I just want to thank you so much for taking an opportunity to join me this evening. It is May 31st, 2021. And tonight we are remembering Black Wall Street on Mindful Money Moment. And so I am Kevette Minor Kane, your financial liberation expert, here to guide women on their journey to self sufficiency by encouraging you about transforming your mind in order to transform your money so that you can thrive. And I'm coming to you solo this evening. Normally, I have guests with me, but this evening, I wanted to just take some time to remember Black Wall Street and to bring out some very significant points that I believe affect my community and our community here on More and More Life, especially for us women and Black women. Um, there's a lot of different activities that are going on in the world today, in the U.S. today, around Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the events that happened back in 1921. If you're not familiar with Black Wall Street, then you should know that Black Wall Street is actually the nickname that was given to the Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there was a community of Black businesses that existed there, over 40 businesses that existed in that community. And on this day, 100 years ago, there was an incident that triggered a race riot that ended in a severe massacre. And the loss of life, the loss of business, the loss of property was so significant during that time that obviously we're remembering it today. But it wasn't talked about for many, many years. And so it's something that I just recently learned about within the last 2 years. I would say, I'm surprised at how significant this event is, and that it's not something that I learned about in school, as part of history, as part of civil rights history, or the Black American history, and especially something that we may have learned about during Black History Month, but never was it mentioned during those years. And so now, being a financial advisor, being an entrepreneur, a Black business owner in the Black business community here in the US, it is something that is very pertinent for me to recognize this history. And so I want to share with you some of the thoughts that I've heard, some of the research that I've done for myself, and some of the encouragement that I have been able to find, and that may encourage you moving forward as well. So, understanding there are many resources where you can go to get much information. Of course, you want to go to YouTube. Do look up Black Wall Street. You can look up the Greenwood District. You can look up Tulsa, Oklahoma, just to get a stronger idea of the history of what happened on May 31st, 1921, and those events and how it affected the families and the residents of that town, with so many people having been killed during that incident, and what the results of that incident were, and how is that affecting us today in the United States. Obviously, with COVID over the last year, we have seen a lot of racial tensions and racial issues that have come up in the Black community in the U.S. And with so many different situations occurring, it is obviously something that's on our minds, and it's been on the minds of the world. We've had people reach out. I've personally had people reach out to me from around the globe, sharing encouragement. And, I've seen posts and had discussions online about the various events that have been going on and concerning the Black community, because this racial issue is not just something that exists here in the US, but it is a global issue, much like the pandemic. And so it's something that is becoming more talked about. It's becoming more pertinent. It's becoming more something that we're more conscious of, and something that we're talking more about, how do we handle the circumstances? How do we move forward? And how are we able to eliminate that wickedness, that evil that exists in society? And how are we able to cope? Because that is a trauma that has affected the Black community for hundreds of years here in the United States. And as a specialist in coping with financial trauma, I support women in being able to identify how our emotions affect our financial management and our relationship with our money. But it's not just women who are affected, especially with the trauma in the Black community. There has been a significant emotional response where money is concerned. And incidences like this are exactly what have contributed to that. Being able to recognize that, when you have a thriving, successful business, and then there is someone who just comes to destroy that business, but not only your business, the entire community that your business exists in. That is absolutely devastating. And so when we think about, what may be holding back Black Americans in terms of business, and, what is the state of the Black business community today, then those are definitely, things, emotions that we need to identify, to be conscious of, so that we can address them and then figure out how to cope and to be able to move forward. And so, I have always suggested different techniques for you all to use in taking, managing the stress around dealing with our money, and, making sure that we feel at peace and that we can allow our mindset to be reset to a state of abundance, so that we're able to continue to grow in our financial wealth. And so that is kind of where I am right now. I want to share just some of the statistics that currently exist today. In that town, there were so many businesses that were destroyed. I was watching earlier today on Roland Martin Unfiltered that the family members or the descendants of those individuals who lost their businesses, lost their property, and lost their lives even on that day, many of them were there or are there now in Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to commemorate the destruction of Black Wall Street at that time, but also to discuss, the present day situation, what the circumstances are, and how we can overcome, and what we need to do in order to support as a community. There is legislation that is being put into place that we need to be aware of concerning reparations. And there was a comparison that was made earlier, but I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. Just to kind of let you know the state of the Black community in terms of the Black business community, and what does that look like today? Well, the beautiful thing is that the Black business community has continued to thrive. We have not only survived, but we're continuing to thrive in the sense that we're continuing to grow. The challenge, though, on the other hand, is that there is a stunted growth. What I feel is a kind of a holdback because of those events, and numerous events that have happened that are racially charged and have been carried out for decades and even centuries in the United States. Regardless of legislation, and even because of legislation, these Black businesses have been held back. The Black community has continued to be withheld from the support and the services and even the opportunities that really would be available to any other community without any hesitation, and have been given to other communities without hesitation. And we've seen how those communities have taken those opportunities and been able to thrive. Whereas in the Black community, these opportunities have been held back. And so we haven't been able to thrive on the same level. And I'll tell you why. I was looking at the data from the census, and I'm thinking, okay, when I'm doing my research, well, maybe this is a census from, so many years ago. And it's not. This is actually a Census Bureau estimates and information that was released in January of 2021. And it talks about the annual business surveys for minority owned, veteran owned, and women owned businesses. And to me, there's a couple of questions that I have. And maybe if some of you know the answers to these questions, you can, help me out. I'm reaching out to my colleagues as well to have further discussions and to get some clarity around, the statistics that I'm finding, and to get a better understanding of, what my role can be in terms of supporting our community. You know that I'm here for you, sis. I'm here for you. You as a business owner, you as an individual, you taking responsibility for your financial self-sufficiency, for being able to move forward on your journey. I'm here to support you in that process, both emotionally as well as financially, giving you the guidance that you need in order to recover and to make progress. Okay, so we've got that. But this is talking about something different on a grander scale with our community, and really understanding where we stand. So, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the estimate is that, good news, there are over 120,000 Black-owned businesses in the United States today. And I think that our ancestors would be highly excited and very proud about being able to see those numbers. However, those numbers are significantly lower than the number of businesses that exist in other minority groups. And I would say, half of the number of what exists in some of those other minority groups. When you have the Hispanic owned businesses at over 300,000, and you've got Asian owned businesses at over 500,000. There is a significant deficit, for the Black community in terms of our business growth. And the question is why and how. So why is there such a deficit, and how do we overcome that? What are we able to do in order to ensure that Black businesses are encouraged to thrive? Because I know entrepreneurs. I know in my community so many folks who have started businesses and are continuing to run their businesses. Sometimes, of course, those businesses go out of business, but an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur. And I know, even like myself, I've run a number of businesses over the last 20 years that I've been an entrepreneur. And being able to establish a business has not been the simplest task. But it is doable. And the thing is, being able to recognize the resources that are available for us to do that. One suggestion earlier by Roland Martin was that we would be able to host a business seminar workshop every year around this time in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where he is now. He says, looking around and seeing the workshops, or seeing the presentations, the conversations that are being had from the platform that is there, is very encouraging, is very refreshing. However, we need to discuss more of, what I talk about on this platform. And it's more of how, as opposed to what to do, because we know that what we need are businesses. What we need are entrepreneurs who are being supported in order to grow. And the question is, how do we do that? Is by taking the steps to guide our entrepreneurs and guiding you ladies step by step into the process of business ownership, and understanding what that looks like, recognizing what the opportunities are for you, so that you can then reach for those opportunities, and building up your confidence and your mindset so that you are feeling like you are enough or even more than enough to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that exist and to be able to thrive in that process. And so stick with me. Of course, you can always visit marimorelife.com for more information. On my website there, I do have a session that's coming up entitled Get Out of Debt and Retire Tax-Free. This seminar is going to be hosted on this Saturday coming up, June 5th at 10 a.m. And so you can go to that website and register for the seminar, and I would love to have you there. That is a first step in the right direction. If you have ever thought about becoming an entrepreneur, if you have ever thought about, running a business for yourself, and you've got an idea, but you haven't set anything up yet, or maybe you're running your business, but you have some debt that you need to overcome, then we can discuss, and I will actually outline for you how you be able to pay that debt off and to be able to set up a retirement for yourself, because that's one of the challenges that we find for many entrepreneurs as well, is that we don't have the financial funding for our futures set up. We don't even have the ideas or the thinking in that direction because it hasn't been presented to us in a way, or because we don't have the funding for that. And it has to be something that we're very conscientious about in order to make it happen. And so you can join me on this Saturday. Visit marimorelife.com, go to the events section, sign up for that seminar on June the 5th at 10 a.m. And I will look forward to seeing you there. Okay. Going back to discussing Black Wall Street and understanding, one of the things that we can also be very proud about where Black Wall Street is concerned is that around the country, there are over 40 Black-owned banks in the United States. And so the question is, are we supporting those banks? Do we have our accounts at those banks, so that we're able to make sure that our Black-owned banks are being supported, and that not only are they able to survive, but they're able to thrive as they are supporting then our communities. There are a couple of resources that I have that are local. There are consulting agencies that will be able to give you information about setting up your business from very beginning, just getting registered in your state, all the way down to, making sure that you're registered so that you can apply for contracts with the government. Also being able to make sure that you've got your business credit established and those kinds of things. I do have a few that I can refer to. I know one here in the DMV is Terraloft Consulting. Terrence over there is working diligently to make sure that business owners are having an opportunity to take advantage of funding that's available for your business, so that you can not just have an idea, not just get a business registered, but that you can have the capital that you need in order to operate your business and to make it grow. And so that is very important. Another resource that I really enjoy is the Black Financial Channel with Boyce Watkins, and he shares a lot of really good information about investing and how to manage our money on a regular basis. And it's just about becoming more conscious. That is the first step. If you're not aware that there's an issue, if you're not aware that there is a problem, then you won't even think about a solution for that. And so that's where this comes in, making sure that you're plugged in to these Black news channels, these Black media channels, such as my own, so that you're able to then become more conscious and make better decisions about what to do in terms of taking action for your accomplishing your goals and reaching out to the future, for even setting goals in the first place. Like, what goals can you set? What is achievable? Because, we want to have big dreams, but then we want to be able to kind of whittle that down into, what is the accomplishable goal? And then what is the right next step? So as we continue to do that, and you can always feel free again to reach out to me online through Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, and I would love to have that conversation with you. You can also reach me on Clubhouse, as I am a co-moderator, admin, host over at the Black Women Empowering Black Women Clubhouse. And so we have regular discussions every Monday morning at 8 a.m. We talk about Black women and our money mindset, and really helping us to understand, what role do we play in this financial market, and understanding the power that we truly have. Because once you recognize the power that you have, then you can use it. You know how to use that power to benefit yourself and to benefit others, to benefit your family, to benefit your community. And that's what we're here about. So making sure that you have an opportunity to take advantage of that information, taking that knowledge, and then to identify the action steps that you need to take and what's going to be the most beneficial for you. And so there's also another resource in terms of Black Wall Street that you can take advantage of. And that would include a website that has recently been set up by Hill Harper and Naja Roberts. And Hill Harper, obviously, actor, investor, philanthropist, a major figure. He wrote an amazing wealth book that he authored, I think back in 2010 was when he authored that book. I've started to read that book myself, and the information is invaluable. There's a number of books that we can read as well to educate ourselves on how to overcome this wealth gap. And speaking of which, there is one of my favorite books by Eugene Mitchell entitled Closing the Racial Wealth Gap that you can take advantage of and you can purchase that book by reaching Eugene Mitchell directly on eugenemitchell.com. I will have these links and resources listed for you in the description of this video once everything is completed. And so that you'll be able to take advantage of, getting access to this information, and then being able to actually have an opportunity to have discussions. Come and chat with me, sis. Come and chat with me on the Black Women Empowering Black Women Clubhouse, where we will also be having book club discussions. There's a group of Black women that I'm working with there. I'm so honored and privileged to be a member of this group. Dominique is the house owner, and has really established a nice group of moderators where we're able to work together and to share this information, but not just sharing information. It is about actionable steps. And there's, for me, whenever I give a talk, there's going to be some homework to do. Because you got to have some action activity in order to take advantage of the opportunity. Listening in. Sometimes I know you'll just be tuning in and listening in while maybe you're doing dinner, or you're doing the dishes, or you're cleaning up, or you're, kind of working at home, if you just need something to kind of keep you company, and fine, listen to us in those times. But then also make sure that you're taking an opportunity to sit down with a pen and notepad, and you're able to take notes, and then to act on the steps that are given to you, so that you can truly see the full benefit of being able to take advantage of the worksheets and the activities that we're able to support you with. So this is all about education, guidance, and support. When you go to mariamorelife.com, you will see a number of events that are available for you to take advantage of and to participate in. And so we would love for you to just, join in, follow along with me. You can click on the connect or the contact tab on Mariam More Life in order to connect with me on various social media, whether it is, Facebook or LinkedIn or Clubhouse or Instagram or YouTube, of course, here, and wherever you can find me. But if you have a question, or when you have a question, because it's not about if, none of us knows everything, and one of the things that I want to be very transparent about is I'm a financial advisor, and I have a financial advisor. I have someone that I go to who checks up on my financial management, checks my budget for accountability, to make sure that I am doing what I need to do, presents the options for me that I need to be aware of, even as educated and as knowledgeable as I am. What I recognize is that as a professional, I am I still need to receive those services from a professional. Okay, so when you talk about financial advisor, and if you look at my community my community notes about this, there's a short video that I did asking, who or what is a financial advisor. Then you'll recognize that you look at your financial advisor similar to your doctor. You've got a primary care doctor. Well, you've got a primary financial advisor, that you want to see. And then there are specialists, financial advisors, that you want to talk about different areas of finance where they specialize in that information, and they can share with you what you need to take, what steps you need to take specifically in order to benefit you in that specific area. So if you've got a foot problem, you go to your primary care, they're going to refer you out to a podiatrist. The same thing, you come to me as a financial advisor. If you've got an issue where, you need to refinance your mortgage, then I'm going to send you to a mortgage advisor. I have someone on my list that I can refer you to, someone on my team that would be able to work with you. We also have, if you're looking to purchase property, whether it's, residential or commercial, then I'm able to refer you to a realtor, who would be able to support you in your home purchasing efforts or in your commercial property purchasing efforts, because that is what community is all about. And that is my responsibility as a financial advisor, to make sure that you have access to the best financial advice available to you. And especially for us as women, oftentimes we will talk to, someone, a family friend, and or family member or friend. And, because of the relationship, they don't always, understand, where you're going at this point in time in your life. Maybe they're looking at your history, or, maybe you're close to them and you don't want them in your business. But being able to find someone that you can trust and someone that is going to look out for your best interest is absolutely what I'm here for. And to be able to give you, sis, the perspective of female guidance, because we think differently than men do. We just do. We were created differently. Not better, not worse, but differently. And so there are different techniques, different strategies that work better for us than they do for them. And sometimes men are not able to communicate with us in a way that we're able to fully understand. You don't want to be miseducated. We don't want to be misunderstood, and we don't want to be misled. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out to someone who has the resources, i.e. me, who would be able to give you the guidance that you need in making good decisions for yourself, so that you would truly be able to benefit for your own best interest. Not making the decisions for you, but presenting to you the options and helping you to understand what taking those options looks like down the road, so that you can now map out your journey. Now that you can identify, where do you really need to go? Where do you need to focus your efforts? What's your next location on this journey to financial sufficiency, and making sure that you've got together everything that you need in terms of building your financial house. And so that is what my interest is concerning you. And I feel like that is something that we need to continue to promote in our community through financial education, obviously through guidance, and then being able to provide the support. So this is how I operate. And I'm going to close out with this. I recognize, the challenges that we face in the Black community are unique. And oftentimes we'll go to others outside of our community who may not completely understand the challenges that we face. But I understand. And I want to share with you the fact that the kind of coach I am and the way that I work with my clients is very different from what I've seen in the marketplace. And I believe that it has to be different because of the level of trauma that Black people have experienced. Whether you are conscious of that trauma or not, throughout your lifetime, and especially even women. Had this conversation earlier talking about, how we as women are perceived in a certain way. There was a woman in my room earlier today and talking on Clubhouse, and she mentioned how, she does DIY. And so she was, she was in her house, and she had a contractor there that came to do some work for her. And so he asked her, he says, well, where's your husband? She says, my husband's at home. And he's like, well, why isn't he here? And she says, because this is my project. This is something that I'm doing. So she had to kind of stand up for herself and say, why are you looking for my husband when this is my home? This is my project. This is my DIY. I'm hiring you. I'm paying you, to come in and do this work. And so those are the kind of challenges that we face on a regular basis, simply being underestimated because of being a woman, and doubly so if you happen to be a Black woman. The true disadvantage is there just in the mindset of other people. So we have to work on improving our mindset and understanding how we can take advantage of opportunities so that we're not continuously being placed at a disadvantage in those kinds of situations. And so that's what I would work with you on, being able to go through this process as your coach. And as a coach, I am what I call a hand-holding coach. And the reason that I am a hand-holding coach is because I have created programs that you're able to use. And please forgive the noise, additional noise. That's the washing machine downstairs. Someone put it on high and it's rattling just for a few seconds. But anyway, when I am as a hand-holding coach, what I recognize is that I want to take you through this process. By holding your hand, because it is not about just creating a program and having this program and saying, oh, hey, I got this program for you, and this is what I put together, and this is what I do. And, okay, so pay me for my program, and I give it to you, and then I tell you to go figure it out. If you've ever had that happen to yourself, then, just, say, hey, in or hand holding in the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. And I want to thank Jody Ann for making a few comments here. She says, thank you for all that you do for women and our financial futures. You're welcome, Jody Ann. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that Jody Ann will be on the show soon, so you guys can look out for that. We're talking about being able to have her here tomorrow. So we're going to do a special Black Wall Street episode discussing more about how we can develop our Black businesses. Okay. So, and Jody Ann says about my story with the coaching, been there. All right. Thank you, Jody Ann. Absolutely. I think all of us really have had some sort of experience like that, and so you purchase a program, and, you purchase the program from this coach because you appreciate who they are as a coach, who they've presented themselves to be to you. And so you're saying, oh, wow, now I'm going to have this person to give me guidance through this process to make it simpler for me. Not that it's going to be easy, because you still have to do the work, right? But to make it simpler, at least with the guidance, you'll know what's the right next step to take. And so you won't get frozen on that journey, just looking at the map, like looking up at the road, trying to figure out which way do I go? Okay, I'm looking at the map and I don't see, do I turn the map around? Am I looking at it from the right direction? And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, there's GPS. That's where I come in. So I am your financial GPS, honey. That is exactly what I am. I will guide you through the process. I will help you to understand, oh, you're going to make your next left turn in 500 feet. And that's where you go. And so having a coach who would be able to guide you through the process, or a financial advisor who's able and capable and willing to guide you through the process is absolutely essential. When you're coming from a place of not knowing how to manage for yourself, or maybe there's things that you feel that you should know and you really don't know, and you're kind of embarrassed to admit it, girl, don't be embarrassed. It is not. It is not a thing to be embarrassed about. Yeah, Jody Ann. Yep. Financial GPS. Absolutely. But it is not something to be embarrassed about, because you know what? We can do things as women for other people that we just, when it gets to a point where we try and doing it for ourselves, it's not always as simple as it is for us to help somebody else through the process. And so that's why we need to make sure that we've got professional support in the process, professional guidance, someone who is educated to teach us how we can take one step and then move to the next step. And after you go 500 feet and you make that right turn, then, you've got 2 miles before you make a left turn. At the next light, you're going to make that, you're going to stop and make sure that you're conscious of the cameras, the speed camera and the red light camera and all of that kind of stuff. I love my GPS maps. I use it all the time, even when I'm driving home and I know the way home. I use it anyway, just to give me the guidance that I need. And see, that's what I'm talking about. It's even if we think we know the way, being able to have a guide so that we don't become distracted. Because in this world today, there's so much to distract us. There's so many little things that can pop up and kind of throw us off our game. But when we have the accountability and support of a professional who is there to educate us, to guide us, and to support us, it makes the process so much simpler. We still have to do the work, but it makes it simpler for us. We can have our confidence built up because we receive the encouragement that we need. And we know that we've got someone there who's not just going to leave us to the wayside, so we can figure it out all on our own. Because of course we're capable. Don't underestimate that. We are capable. You sis are capable of figuring it out, but it takes so much longer to do that. Allow yourself the grace of being supported so that you can get through the process with a little more ease, with make it simpler for yourself. We don't always have to put our nose to the grindstone and work hard for everything. Sometimes we have to recognize where to put our energy. And if we are putting our energy in a place where we can actually receive some relief, then that means that we don't have that energy to put in a place where, maybe it's something that we have to focus in on all by ourselves, and so finding the balance. That's what this is all about, being able to find the balance, and those businesses in Black Wall Street, they were thriving. They had barbershops and restaurants, and there was a bank, and there was, healthcare, and there was cleaners, and all kinds of businesses, hardware stores and groceries, and, all these kinds of stores that make a community thrive, and because a group of people in their insecurity, in their fear, in their wickedness, decided that, this group was not worthy of being able to maintain what they had. They not only destroyed the buildings, but they destroyed the lives of so many in that community, to the point that there was an airstrike. They actually took airplanes. There was a government official who took an airplane in that area. And I want to say it was the sheriff or, someone from the police department. And I'll have to check that fact, but do the research, find out for yourself, understand what they had going against them, because that was a physical display of terrorism, towards the Black business community. The thing is that today, even though things are not as blatant as that, they're still very blatant. And we need to understand what are the challenges that are facing us. But if we don't understand what the opportunities are, then we can't even see where we're being blocked. And so that's where it is on our responsibility to reach out, to take advantage of the resources that are available to us in the Black community. And those resources, again, you can reach out to me. I'm going to post some of those resources in the commentary or in the description of this video, so that you'll be able to just, copy and paste or click or type and be able to take advantage of those resources. And a few of them, again, include the blackwallstreet.com. And that was developed by Hill Harper and Naja Roberts, who I spoke about before, amazing financial investors and wealth educators. And then there is the Black Financial Channel, hosted by Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins. And he's got a wealth of information that he shares there, not only educating adults, but also educating youth, and that all these things obviously come from a majority male perspective, because men run these industries for the most part. But then that's where I come in. I come in for you, sis, because we speak the same language. I understand your tendencies. I understand your thinking. And if there may be things that I don't completely understand, we can have a conversation about it, and I will hold your hand and walk you through the process. I will not tell you, here's the program, go figure it out. That's not what we're here about. So if you want to reach me, feel free to go to www.mariamorelife.com, and you can send out a contact request. I also have a free book available there for you, a free journal to help you get started, because this all starts with mindset. Y'all know this is Mindful Money Moment. And so we're going to start with the mindfulness, and then we're going to go into managing our money. But to get you started in that process, you can go to the website, not this one. This one is coming available soon. That's my new book. But this is the journal that I actually have available on that website. It's the Mindful Money Moment journal and affirmations, where there are some thought starters, some topic starters. So for each section, you're able to have a topic, and then a page where you're able to write out your response to the question or the statement on that page, which will guide you through the process of not only a mindset reset, but also understanding the framework for where you currently are in your money management. And that is absolutely key, because that is where you start. Once you have completed that journal, then you can schedule some time with me, schedule a 15-minute clarity connection, so that we're able to identify what is your true interest. And then what are the next steps? If you're interested in working with me on a month-to-month basis, or if you want to join and have an annual membership, I will go through with you to provide a full financial review, which many people don't understand even what that is, but I will explain it to you when we have that 15-minute clarity connection. And then you'll also be able to take advantage of the seminars and workshops that I have available throughout the year, various ones, of course, for annual members, and then over a period of time for those who are monthly members. And being able to now put yourself in a position where you can say that you've got your financial advisor, a real resource who is there to guide you through the process and to make sure that you get the support that you need. And so that is what I'm here for. That is what I do. Thank you for joining me and taking a moment to remember Black Wall Street from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood District, as it was destroyed between May 31st and June 1st of 1921. Today, we're remembering 100 years later, and the question is, what is the difference between then and now? We've made a lot of progress, obviously, but there's so many incidences even outside of Black Wall Street. If you're not familiar with the Red Summer in Chicago, look it up. Take an opportunity to understand what our history looks like in the Black business community and recognize the challenges that we've been facing. Because, while some people might say that, we're just complaining about slavery, it's so far beyond that. It's so far beyond slavery. And if we really understand the trauma that has been experienced by our community, then it is time for us to be conscious of what we need to do in order to heal. And that is why I'm here to share the practices and to give the encouragement that we need to take those steps forward. And so I look forward, sis, to working with you. Please feel free again to reach out to me. You've got my contact information. I look forward to having yours, and I'll be in touch. Take care. Take some time to remember. Take advantage of that journal so that you can get yourself started on that journey to self-sufficiency. And I'll look forward to being in contact with you for that clarity connection. All right. Take care and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.